Okay, so I'm back. But I was gonna say, so this week I said there was gonna be a lot going on. I don't know what's gonna be going on in everybody's, you know, uh, everybody's environment or in their own personal orbit, but here in mine, yesterday I had this feeling like we're coming to. The power's going to go out and stuff. I even reminded the neighbor that, if the power goes out, don't forget your husband. I need him to help me start my generator. I can't do it by myself. And she's like, oh, you think the power's going to go out? I hope not. And it was windy yesterday, but nothing like what's coming. So, I'm supposed to be leaving this weekend and going. I was going to cross over the pass and go over to Spokane and see my kids. It's one of my granddaughter's birthdays and get tires on my car and stuff. I had a whole bunch of plans to do. And so my mom messages me this morning and she's like, what's a good thing you're not going today with the storm? I was like, what storm? So I went and looked it up. And so here right now, look, I mean, it's really dark and really cold, for spring. And it's like real dead, like nothing's moving. So like the calm before the storm. So the storm is going to go until tomorrow sometime. And it said 2 different times on 2 different things. So either 8 or 11 somewhere tomorrow. And it's going to start anytime. I don't know when. But we can get up to 2 feet of snow. And it said from 12 to 24 inches. And they said above 2,500 feet. The last time they said that, I went out, there was like no snow on the upper, but down here we were just, completely jackhammered full of snow. So, so the snowstorm that's expected. And then on top of it, we get the 45-mile-an-hour winds. You just don't even know. If you've never been around really tall trees in the wind, it's terrifying. I mean, it's the reason why all these people clear cut their property and stuff, because it is super scary and the trees do fall and crush houses, crush cars, and crush people. So anyways, that's what they have in store for us. And so then I looked and it's storms on the passes all through the weekend. So I'm not going to be leaving. And I got my candles out. I'm charging my my emergency light. I got my fireplace ready to go. And, I got to expect, could go without power. And I probably should make something to eat that I could eat cold. I got peanut butter crackers, so you can live off peanut butter crackers. I don't know for how long. I'm not saying for extended period of time, but definitely through a storm I could. And so anyways, that's what is in store for us for this week. And who knows what all. I wish somebody would just expose, just like in The Wizard of Oz, just pull the curtain back and show who's behind the curtain. I wish that they could be caught red-handed with these weather manipulation machines. Even, when I'm sitting there saying, well, I guess I'm not going to be able to come this weekend. And it's like, well, I guess that's what spring is. That's just what I was talking about earlier. And we just accept, well, I guess that's what it is. Well, I guess that's what climate change, I guess that's what, No, it's all created. They create this stuff for us. And another thing, too, that I was going to talk about earlier that I think was one of the things I forgot was, so when that girl in the one movie, the one with the supernatural being that was, sucking the energy out of other beings, that there was a ritual she had to go through, like, where she was switching realities and stuff. And she went into a different reality and then was going through different realities. And, that is the kind of expansion of consciousness. Like for me, it happened for me by getting an injury that could have essentially killed me. I mean, I don't know. I got out of the hospital alive for some reason, because a lot of people who have what I had don't. So, there's a reason for everything. But it expanded my consciousness to go through that. And that is like what people go and use, like, what is that? Ayahuasca, peyote, even mushrooms, I think, can do it to give you this other, it takes your consciousness into another reality. And there, it's done through different kinds of ceremonies. And it is the way that we begin to learn what we are, and all these different people are having different experiences, this awakening. And, a lot of it has to go through tragedy, and, it expands your consciousness. I don't know how expanded it's going to be, if it's just it's like the breakdown and then they have to build back up, which I think is kind of like how it's going to go. I think it's going to be, the people who are awake, most of the people who are awake are still focused on something. They're focused on the people who aren't awake, or they're focused on one thing that really bothers them, like, the fraud of, what we do when we put the little circle on a card and we say who we want. Some people are just focused on that. Some people are just focused on sickness, and everybody just gets focused on something, so they're really not working on themselves and their healing and what they need to do. So those people still have a lot to face as well. But the people who are, really locked into this, alternate reality, they are going to have a lot to face. So some of the people already have an edge in, but there's still going to be so much to face. And so, I think it is going to be, what's going to happen is it's going to break everybody down to those come to Jesus moments, like where, all seems lost, where do you go from here? And then it's the building up. And I think the building up is when we are going to be, rebuilding is going to be the creation of the age of Aquarius. But we still have to go through this part of everything is lost. We've lost it all. We've lost everything that we thought was real is gone. And that is going to be a state of consciousness, and then moving into that state of rebuilding and recreating what we believe this existence, what we want out of life. But I did find it weird how, that the evil guy, whatever it was that he was saying, all their plans first and stuff. And at the end, and you will find out. But their thing was because, they want to turn us into these little droids that, 1 year old, they're ready to pick their sexual partners. Which, I don't know. That one was so ridiculous. It could have very well been that the girl was joking, because it was just so ridiculous. But I would imagine there really is truly a lot of parents out there. I mean, I've seen videos and stuff where they got very, very small children, deciding that they're no longer what gender they are. They're switching genders. People are doing things that just don't make any sense with their kids because they're not thinking it through. They're so busy wanting to be accepted as a progressive, like, oh yeah, I'm right with you on the progress, just like when I was with that, this person and their kids are running around and stuff, and their little girl has a dress on, and she starts, pulling her dress up. She's pulling her little sister all across herself in her dress, and everything's, she's exposing herself, and the dad said, put your legs down, don't do that. And the mom got really offended and started saying, you wouldn't tell a boy to do that. Well, how many boys do we have running around in dresses? If they're running around in a dress, you get like, what the fuck? You do not want your daughter to think like, don't think about exposing yourself. Don't, just be free, throw your dress up, because, there's no pervs around you. They're everywhere. That's what we want to get our kids to just be like, showing themselves to these people who are all sitting there waiting and looking, the ones who want to be perving on our kids. Like, But that is part of the whole thing, you know. Oh, well, you wouldn't do it if it was a boy. You wouldn't tell him to, you know, cover himself if it was a boy. If it was a, I don't know. It's just so weird how this, they want to convince themselves what these people are saying is the right way instead of thinking it through. Like, you know, it makes no sense. I mean, when I was a kid, you were taught to, you know, keep your legs down and stuff like that because, you know, you get to a certain age, you've got to have some manners and, you don't just sit there with your legs up in the air, spreading your legs, sitting there talking to people and stuff. I mean, it's very distracting. And, you know, especially if you're a little kid, I mean, it's a sad state of affairs when we have kids that can't just be free and, you know, do what they want. But right now we're in a very warped environment, you know. It's, you know, like if you were to go to a pond and, you know, there's all sorts of bass and trout and all the different kinds of fish in there, but there's a certain kind that they all want. And, you know, they like them to be young and free and open and not caring about who's touching them and stuff. Like, you know, I mean, I can't even imagine telling your kid, you need to go to this camp so you can learn how to touch yourself. And these people are going to be touching you to teach you how. So, I mean, I think the kids would be like, I mean, we were taught like, well, not we were taught. We weren't taught a fucking thing, I don't think, about stuff like that. I think it started then, and then we started teaching our kids, you know, about good and bad touch. And, you know, if somebody's touching you and it feels uncomfortable, listen to your gut, listen to yourself, you know, run. Don't think just because it's an adult that it's okay. You know, we have to teach this. It's kind of like we have to teach morals in a moralist society. And, you know, but that's part of this whole thing of people having to realize who's in charge and, you know, that they have an agenda and stuff. But anyways, I don't know what this week's going to be like. And I don't know, I mean, I should have assumed we'd get hit hard. I should have just figured, you know, where I'm at, they're going to be, you know, hitting us hard somehow. So I don't know, we may not have power or something. And, you know, I may not be able to come on and record for a few days. I don't know. We'll just have to see. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, if all this stuff is starting, you know, because of how the planets are aligning, you know, it's going to be for the next few days because it's not supposed to, they change their alignment around the 8th or something. So more towards the weekend. So I'm really hoping that a lot of stuff is exposed this week, and you know, that we do get that, you know, the break of the wave, and you know, there will be a lot of aftermath. You know, there's gonna be you know, debris left from this crash that's gonna happen, and it's a lot of emotional scarring is gonna be you know, exposed to people. People are gonna have to, you know, see the truth and see themselves and see the part they played to create the truth. So, anyways, oh, and also, yeah, I don't know if you can hear it, but, you know, got the freaking military planes going over us all the fucking time. So, I don't know. All I can say is, you know, we just have to, you know, just keep, it isn't like we have to go out and fight. It is it's an internal battle of having faith and, you know, trust and knowing that we're headed to someplace good. We just have to get through the storm, and that the storm is temporary. You know, no matter how bad it is, you know, every storm that comes through, and, you know, in the mountains, they're going to hit us with snow and wind, and they've been with the floods, and you got people, you know, with tornadoes, hurricanes. I mean, they're just coming at us in all the ways that they can to create so much chaos and so much of us, being dependent and accepting that this is our life, it's climate change. So we better go to work so we can pay them all of our money, so we can give them all our taxes, so they can make us safe again. It's our whole thing all the time. Create a disaster. So we play along with the game out of fear, and then get the rest of the group to gang up on them. It's science. Don't be crazy. So anyways, we'll see how this goes this week. If everything is cool, I will be back. And if it's not, then maybe I'm in a better place. We'll see how it goes. I really don't think I'm going to be dying in any kind of storm anytime soon. I think I've got a ways to go. So, but wind is terrifying to me. So I feel very, very like edgy, like right now. My heart is kind of like pounding, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I have these giant windows right here. Like it's almost like the whole front of my house is windows. And it feels like the wind just goes right through them. And but a tree crashing through, and plus not having anywhere to go if something were to happen. Like, I don't know, they can create a lot of chaos for us. Here where they had the floods, there's people who still haven't gone back to their houses. I saw when we went to town that one day to go have lunch, there was a house that was jacked up. So it's on jacks, so it's way up in the air. Like, it looks like the ones that are down like in Galveston or in other ocean places where they have them way off the ground. It looked like that. It was so weird, but it was giant jacks holding it up. But all these houses that they destroyed here, and all these people's property and stuff. And some people are coming back trying to rebuild, but there's no money. The insurance is screwing them, FEMA, all of this stuff. It's all, it's all bullshit. It's, all they want to do is keep us down and think that we deserve it. And, and for us to just completely be compliant to the system, and to give them the control over our lives, and give them the control over our emotional stability, really. So it's really loud too. There's been so much noise. I'm really dreading them starting this 300 houses. Oh my God. I don't even know what house they're working on right now, but it's so freaking noisy, and these giant trucks that drive by. So anyways, no matter what, I got to face this day, face this windstorm, and, just deal with what comes. And we can all do it. We all have to do it. It is survival of the fittest. This is going to show us all what we're made of, and, getting through it. But, I think I'm going to try and, really get my journals out and really start editing them and trying to organize them. Just find some kind of thing to distract yourself, read a book, or, I don't know what you can do if there's no power and stuff. I mean, there was that whole thing about we were going to be in the 10 days of darkness where you take down the internet and all that stuff. So who knows? There's so many predictions. So many predictions. We just have to wait and see how it all plays out. But I just know where it's all leading us, and we just got to get through the tunnel. The tunnel of love, because we just got to get through that tunnel, and that's going to lead us into this age of Aquarius. But this tunnel is dark, and it is spooky, and but we can't sit here and focus on our fear. Like, I can't sit here and just, freak myself out all day, and start imagining the trees coming through the windows and stuff, because I'm giving that power then. I'm creating that for myself. So when there's something like that it is scary to me, I gotta go let her in. When there's something like that that's scary to me, I refuse to give it that kind of power. I'm gonna focus on something else. And then, I just gotta let things happen the way they're gonna happen, and deal with what happens, and, hope for the best. I'm going to go let her in, and I'm going to go out and talk to the trees. I'm actually going to go up, and I'm going to whisper, into the trees and hold on to them and ask them for their protection today. Sounds crazy, but you know, I've done it before and it's worked so far, so I'm gonna go do it again. So you know, be strong, and if I don't, you know, if you don't hear from me for a couple days, you know, I'll be back, I'm pretty sure. So everybody just has to stay strong and you know, diligent in your own safety, and ride out the storm, whatever, you know, you get thrown this week. Just ride it out and stay safe. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.